Check. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cast&Blast podcast. This is a raw and unfiltered fishing and hunting podcast where we keep the lines tight, the barrels hot, and the beer cold. I'm your host, Pinche Ben. Joining me and introducing our very special guest today is my co-host, Nasty Jim.
Ooh, Stinky, that's me. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. With us today, we got two special guests, not one, but two. So to my immediate right here, we got Warden Sanchez.
Yeah, he's back.
I am
by
back.
popular demand.
And on the far right, we got Warden Witcher.
I'm here.
We wanted to get a little bit of
Just a
comic
little
relief in there for you guys. Listen, guys, we're excited to have these two here.
This is our first time meeting Warden Witcher, so we just had to throw that in there and break it in as a joke. But
There you go.
we're really proud to be
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome.
So, guys, you guys got here just in time because hunting season is about to take off. We as hunters are getting ready. We're packing up, we're gearing up, and we're just kind of planning our hunting season. What do game wardens do to prepare for a hunting season?
Yeah.
What do you guys pack?
We were talking, Ben and I were talking about that. We're getting ready, getting all of our stuff ready, and we're like, what are the game wardens doing to get ready for us?
Same thing. All of our tools are in the truck. We just have to transition in the mindset from water safety to hunting compliance. So we've obviously had a busy season, a lot of extra water, and now we need to start preparing and transitioning for our first season of the year, which is dove. All that licenses went on sale.
Yes.
So we can talk about that. But as far as our equipment, it's part of what we do every day.
You kind of go from summertime to fall time, or I guess some of that's just kind of used up. Binos, that's the secret weapon, right?
Well, binos are always in our bag of tricks, right? We always carry those essential tools regardless of what we're doing. That mobile office of ours contains everything. Now we do have to transition as the weather changes, right? Even today we got a little bit of downpour, and I made reference to Warden Witcher on the way here. I'm like, well, I wasn't quite ready for the downpour today.
Oh, I know that came out of nowhere.
And my rain parka is not in the truck right now.
Wherever it is, I'm sure whatever it's real nearby is really dry.
Yes, it was dry and we were not.
Yeah, but you might have got a little wet today.
Well, the ironic thing is, as the rain kind of subsided on our way over here, we had an angler on the waterway on the way here, and he was a little bit more saturated than we were, but visiting with him for the 10, 15 minutes that we were, it was a little bit, nothing that we couldn't, obviously we're already dried off.
Yeah,
but,
nothing too bad.
Yeah, so, but, is what game wardens are doing, we're preparing just like the hunter. Of course, when we're not working, we're trying to do the same thing. We enjoy the same thing y'all enjoy.
I had
in the field.
I had a buddy that was a warden up in Kansas, and he told me there's a couple things that he keeps in his truck, and it's the only thing he really needs to keep him successful.
Which is?
He said, I always got to have my binos. I got a secret stash of caffeine.
Okay.
So he's got a buttload of caffeine with him all the time. Dry socks, and what was the other one? I think I wrote it down. Let's see. I think that was it. Bug spray.
Oh,
That was the other one.
Yeah.
Bug spray.
yeah.
Bug spray, Bono, dry socks, and buttloads of caffeine.
And depending on the time of year, I would add sunscreen to that list. But yeah, dry socks are essential. Spare change of clothes on occasion. Sometimes we get caught up in various elements, and we need to
Wrangling an alligator or something,
Or checking dove hunters when it's 112 in October, because it's been that way the past couple of years.
Yes, sir.
Soaking wet.
So we've done this before. We've had you on as guests, and we've talked about, obviously, the responsibilities or roles that a Texas game warden plays. I'd like to ask you again, just to cover those basic deals where it comes from, like what you guys do, so that we can lean into what we're here to talk about, which for me is dove season. we'll talk about some things that, maybe haven't changed. Maybe there are some updates, but we'll cover that specifically about dove season. But if for the people that haven't had a chance to, meet you in person or, interact with a game warden, let's let you guys kind of introduce what it is, your roles here as Texas Game Wardens do.
So Texas Game Wardens, conservation off the pavement, right? Conservation law enforcement off the beaten path. We're responsible for all of your hunting and fishing regulations as well as your water safety across the state. That is our emphasis. Now, as licensed peace officers, we do everything that a normal officer would do, a licensed peace officer, but we specialize in conservation law enforcement. We are the number one agency for water-related, waterborne activity, so water safety on lakes and rivers, etc. We respond to natural disasters. We have our own search and rescue. We have aircraft. We all the tools that can be used outside of the normal scope of what you would think of for resources, for law enforcement resources.
Yeah. Wear a lot of hats.
Very many.
That's it.
Wear a lot of hats.
To include community outreach and things of that nature?
Yeah, so obviously enforcement.
Sitting on podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so the enforcement, obviously, but that also goes a long ways with, just like you said, education and outreach. Not every contact is a law enforcement contact. So we do a lot of recruiting. We may be at the filling station and field a call, or a question or a phone call. I've been at both at the gas station, not while I'm pumping gas, obviously. What does it take to be a game warden? I won't necessarily elaborate on that now, but that's an education, outreach, recruitment, right? Do you love your job? Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's probably the best job out there for us. A lot of people could probably relate to it's the best job out there, but I wouldn't do anything different. I've been doing this for well over 20 years, and I still love my job. I love getting up and going to work.
It's not a job then. It's not a job.
That's pretty cool. So as a very experienced, I'll say very seasoned game warden, you have your perspective and you have your, you're basing it off a long history of, experience. I'd like to turn it to you and ask you a question, Hunter, because you are new at it and we're excited to see, you kind of thrive into this field as well. And maybe tell us a little bit where you're gonna be, and maybe what drove you to do it, man. I mean, there's some aspiring game wardens, some young kids and that are watching right now, and they're gonna say, "Hey, I want to do that," and just kind of give us a little bit of your experience of like, man, this is a dream come true for me,
Yeah, so I grew up in Lampasas County, and my grandfather has a place there, and just down the road, like less than a mile, lived the game warden, the local game warden there. We would pass by him, and we got to talk to him and see him. We got to see what he did and stuff, and I just thought that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
He gets to be in the outdoors and do things related to hunting and fishing
and get paid for it.
And get paid for it,
Yeah.
And in Lampasas, the game warden was a big deal, and you would see him coming down the road, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's the game warden." There's a lot of respect there too.
Pretty cool, man.
And
Now you're that big deal.
That was a big deal to me. So
yeah. So, Jimmy, don't you say if you what's the saying? If you love your job, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. That's it right
This
there.
is a testament to that, man. That's pretty cool.
And I've also heard the paycheck's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Icing on the cake. Yeah.
No, let's be real. We need those benefits, though.
The benefit, that's the real deal.
Right?
That's the real deal right there.
Yeah, but guys, we're here talking about dove season specifically. We asked the game wardens to come on and talk dove season. Like, it's the kickoff to all seasons when it comes to hunting.
Yeah, when tags go on sale, that's when, blood pressures and heart rates go up from excitement and things like that. And tags are going on sale now. Or, tags and licenses are going on sale now.
Yep.
So it's that time of year to start looking towards the skies. But before we do that, there's a lot of things you need to do before you just jump out there and start, shooting doves out of the sky. And
Let's talk about the first.
Yeah.
Right? You said tags go on sale. Well, licenses go on sale, right? Dove season specific, there's some endorsements and some requirements that you need to not overlook. Let's dive into that.
Okay. So, Yeah, when you're making a purchase for your hunting license, you have options. Not everybody wants to pay the full meal deal and get their super combo, but that particular license encompasses everything that you would need to hunt in the state of Texas. However, you're paying $68 for that particular license, and if you only were to hunt dove, in this case, dove being a migratory game bird, you could probably knock that down in half, but you need to have a license, the actual hunting license, and on top of that license, you need to have a HIP certification that stands for the Harvest Information Program, as well as your migratory game bird endorsement. Those three things are required for your licensure to hunt dove in Texas. Now, if we take it one step further and encompass all migratory game birds, you also need your federal duck stamp, and that will be for your ducks and your geese. With those licensure, endorsements, etc., you are also required by state law to have some form of identification with you while you're engaged in that activity. Now, depending on your age, licensed hunters born on or after September 2nd, 1971 are required to have hunter's education. Did I get that date right?
I'm
September 2nd, 1971 for hunter's education.
pretty certain.
Make sure I had that right because I had to think about it real quick.
Hey, what are you checking there, Jimmy?
If you haven't yet gotten your Texas Outdoor Annual, do so. I mean, they're free. There's no reason not to. And 9 out of 10 times that you have a question that you think it's kind of gray or you're unsure of, if you pick up this pamphlet, you'll find it.
September 2nd.
In addition to that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you on my phone here. I got the Outdoor Annual app. You guys can download the app. You can use this app. It's got a ton of good information here to include sunrise and sunset, which is important when you're hunting. I highly encourage you to download the app, get it on your phone. You can upload your licenses and certs on there as well and make sure that they're synced. However, let's talk a little bit about, they did cover, Game Warden Sanchez talked about, you need to have your hunting license, you need to have ID.
When you say ID too, that's one thing that we overlook a lot of the times that we was talking about is your ID, your state ID, whatever it is. It's a requirement when you're hunting or fishing. I know a lot of us sometimes we forget or leave it in the truck, but if you get caught up with that with a game warden, I mean, it's your fault. It's in the annual. It's on your phone or you pick up a hard copy. It's too easy to carry it. Just do it.
And I'll add to it because there's been confusion with the Outdoor Annual on your phone, the physical license that you can buy in paper or on paper, but you can also buy a digital license. Do you happen to have been over there the Hunt and Fish app as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If you'll show them that,
Okay.
and that will kind of clear up some of the confusion. When people start talking about a digital license, you will not receive a hard copy license over the counter. It is all digital. You will use your device. In this case, you've got a smartphone. This particular license supersedes the paper copy.
It's not zooming.
Not zooming.
But you guys download the app. You can see it here. I'll just break it down. It's got my name, it's got my license number, and it's got all my active licenses down below. So this is a quick way also for you to verify with Texas Parks and Wildlife if they're doing a check. Pull this up.
Yeah. So all forms, paper or digital, are acceptable by law as long as you have it on your person while you're engaged in the activity. But just note that if you have a digital license, you will not have paper tags. You will have a digital tag. So there's been confusion. They think that because they have their Outdoor Annual on their phone, or even the app that you just showed, which is called the
Texas
Hunt and Fish.
Yeah.
Just because you have those apps with the information loaded doesn't mean you have a digital license. It is an electronic version of your hunting or fishing or combination license.
And I can tell you from experience, if you have the electronic version and you did it that way and you paid for that, that means you're still allotted however many, whitetail, antlered or antlerless, right? But that's your duty to register your harvest through the app. So you can't just not tag or not do any of that stuff. You have your responsibility, the electronic form, and then you have your responsibility whether you do the paper form. Both super important. Can't neglect either one, and that is your responsibility.
Oh, you can neglect it.
Well,
but
it
you don't
happens
want
more
to.
often than not, I'm
You don't
sure.
want to
You don't want
neglect
to. Yeah. Don't get caught doing it.
So we're talking dove hunting here specifically. We covered HIP, migratory bird endorsement. You got to have your physical, identification on you, whether that's a Texas ID or driver's license. And you have to have either hunter's education or be able to prove why you are exempt from hunter's education. So I get calls all the time, every start of the year, every start of every hunting season. What am I supposed to go buy? What am I supposed to get? If you don't know, guys, go to the app
Yeah, that's what.
and figure it out. Do
It's
a
not
little
hard.
bit of digging. It's going to take you 5-10 minutes maybe to keep yourself out of trouble, and that 5-10 minutes could save you so much money. Before we get deep into the money, we're covering the basic license requirements. We haven't even got into additional permits. And what do I mean by that?
So, yeah, additional permits. It depends on where you're hunting. If you're hunting in your cousin's, buddy's, uncle's farmland, you
Yep.
know, like long as you got permission, you're going to be good. But if you go on any type of WMAs or public land and things like that, you really need to check. They're all different too, and they may have different permits that are needed. It may be more than one, but there's additional permits needed depending on where you're hunting. If it's on public, so different WMAs, different walk-in areas and things like that. So always check. And if you don't know where to check, I mean, you can always say you're hunting around a lake and it's a Corps engineer lake. Well, go to that lake's page. You can look there. You can find it. You can find a lot of the answers, like we've been saying, in the outdoor annual on the app or the handout. But all the information's out there. If you just dig a bit, it doesn't take much. Do you got anything to add to that special permits?
Depending on which public land that you're going to, being here in Central Texas, we've got Corps of Engineer property. We also have the public hunting lands through Parks and Wildlife, and they are both publicly accessible, but there are permits needed for the public hunting, and there are not permits needed for Corps of Engineers.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people in the field that have the APH, the Annual Public Hunting Permit. And I always question them as to why they bought it and ask them where they're using that particular permit. And the specific reason I'm inquiring about where they're using it is because I want to inform them about the requirement for the electronic on-site registration. It is a violation of state law to access one of those APH properties during dove season without
Checking in.
checking in
And checking out.
Checking out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Safety.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So just be aware that those additional requirements do exist.
Can you elaborate a little bit on why? I bet a lot of people are wondering why. I might have an answer, but I'm assuming.
Speculation.
I'll tell you, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even want to begin to speculate, but I can make an assumption. It's safety related. It's also information.
Records.
There you go. It's information because to have that opportunity,
Yeah.
decisions are being made when we start talking about money. And, how productive is it?
Yeah.
How much are we paying versus how much reward are our constituents getting?
How many hunters are actually checking in, checking out,
So
Is
that's
the juice worth the squeeze?
yeah, that's kind of, and I'm just, like I said, I'm guessing at all that, but that's well above my pay grade.
Now, in some of those areas, especially like we're talking dove hunting right now, and this gets. I was out a couple of years ago just walking a WMA, just walking hike. I just love to get out and walk, and I found a guy out there hunting, and it was in the springtime. He's actually out there turkey hunting, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You can't be out here hunting. Well, I bought the permit. And I'm like, well, that permit doesn't cover turkey hunting. So be careful with that. Just if you do get a permit and you go to, certain public areas, make sure what species you can hunt on there as well.
I was reading, I'm trying to find it in this email. Texas Parks and Wildlife just sent out the email stating, hey, dove season's looking good this year. We've had some good rains. We're probably expecting some good forage, and the numbers are looking good for a promising dove season.
Record year. I'm hearing a record year due to the conditions, the spring we had, the rains.
They say that every year.
But
there's always a hurricane that comes and wipes us out right before every hunting season.
We've been seeing a lot though. So,
but where I was getting at is that somewhere I read, and I just can't find it here, but I encourage you to go look for it yourself, just to find out everyone's biggest complaint. There ain't no public land in Texas.
Oh yeah, dove hunt.
To dove hunt alone, there's over 100 sites in Texas, according to the email I got from Texas Parks and Wildlife, that are leased and offered for public land.
And is that part of the annual public hunting permit?
Yes.
Okay.
So in addition to getting your permit, you will get a book. Hard copy book will give you page by page a map of each site. It'll show you the check-in point where you need to know the authorized parking for that area. You got to know where to actually check. Sometimes they got a little fill out card or something you can fill out, but I think it's all now. You just got to do it electronically, like he was saying. But if you don't do that, then we don't know who's using this. We don't know what your harvest count is, and we can't use that data to kind of tie in, hey, we're having a promising season, but nobody's really reporting how many dove they're harvesting that year. So how does it correlate? How do we know? So that's the way these numbers, and why check in and check out is important, and why recording your harvest records is important for us as dove hunters, so that we can actually use that data to actually correlate it to, well, we saw this many birds. What does that mean? It's how many birds did we harvest, and that'll kind of help us with the whole conservation effort and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of helps holistically, all the way from the hunter to the biologist to the conservation officers. If you work collaboratively like that, I mean, you can collect a lot of data.
It sounds to me like you guys are leaning towards, you are a part of the management process.
Every hunter should be.
Every hunter should be.
Yes.
And I think by fulfilling that requirement, you're contributing to that management cause.
Yeah, doing your part. Kind of
doing your part and sharing that information as well. As hunters, we have not everybody likes hunting. Not everybody likes the image that hunting does. We got people here protesting, meat processing markets and all that stuff. Hey, to each their own. But us as hunters, man, it's our duty to make sure that we are educating others, so that maybe we can swing them and change their mind. We're definitely not doing well job of that if we're doing things wrong. So when we do it right, sharing that information with other hunters allows us to kind of, even the field a little bit, and it kind of opens some eyes and be like, I get what you guys are doing now. It's not just going out and killing stuff. There's a conservation effort behind it. The money from your licenses is going to all these different programs that are helping the environment and the habitat and all that stuff. So it's our duty.
Yeah, it's a smart way to. I mean, without it, the conservation efforts would just be. I guess it is state and federal funded, but I mean, it's mainly funded by us hunters. It's us recreationists, and we love what we're able to do out there and go out and do. So just do your part. I mean, that's part of doing your part. But now, let's get into the hunting, right? So the dove hunting. So if I'm out there dove hunting, I guess. We'll kind of maybe play a scenario. Me and Ben's out dove hunting, and
did you get your ticket book?
What's that?
For this scenario, I thought we're going to need the ticket book.
Oh, the ticket book.
Yeah, you probably will. Especially if I'm involved. I'm already on edge. Like, what are you telling them, bro?
Yeah. Ben's always telling him when he's with me and we get checked. He's like, "I'm good. I'm with you, man." And I'm like, "Nah."
Guys, we went through the South Texas checkpoints. Coming back from South Texas, you come through.
Yeah.
And
let's not tell this story.
I want to tell this.
Too late now.
I don't care.
Too late now.
We come back and we're heading back from a dove hunt down South Texas. And Jimmy's like, I've never been through a checkpoint before, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, I need you to calm down, So I'm sitting there trying to be cool, and Jimmy's got his phone out, and he's filming the whole checkpoint and everything. I was like, what are you doing, bro? And he's like, I'm good, bro. They're going to stop. I said, yeah, but I'm not. So we go through, and they're like, business to play, U.S. citizen, yep. And then,
See?
yeah, he's over there, see? And I'm like, bro, he can get away with that. I can't. Anyway.
Just having fun. Anyways, back to the scenario.
Yes, scenario.
Scenario. Here we go.
Scenario.
All right, me and Ben, we're out, dove opener, and you guys are driving down the road, and y'all hear pow, 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 pew, pew, pew. Man, it sounds like some shotguns just going off over there. You drive over there, see me and Ben set up on a fence line with a cooler, drinking beer, shooting dove. Now, you pulled up, you seen two guys, two shotguns, dead dove laying on the ground, and beer.
I won't have any dove laying on the ground.
Yeah, a lot of shells on the ground. Probably not many birds, but there's beer. Big ice chest full of beer, and a couple beer bottles or cans laying on the ground. Are we wrong for doing what we're doing?
You're not in violation of the law. Right or wrong is subjective.
Yeah.
But you and Ben are both of legal drinking age in this state, right?
Mm-hmm.
How could you tell?
It's an assumption based on
The
years
gray
of
hair on my
experience.
Because we were hunting and had our ID with us.
Oh,
man.
okay, all right.
Oh, I thought we hadn't got that far yet in this scenario. I've approached you. You guys have, I've heard the shot. We've heard the shots. We see a dead bird on the ground. We have obviously signs of hunting, and we have signs of consumption of alcohol at this point just by observation. Now, during this particular scenario, if at the onset, you guys may just be having a good time. Depending on the number of cans that are there, we start wondering whether or not, if this is the day opener, were you guys here last night? And if you were you hunting last night, right? So are these leftovers from another day, or are these all from the whatever time of the day this scenario is?
Yeah, sure.
So we're going to formulate based on experience, where you guys are. Have you had too much to drink, right? If it's just the two of you and you both are under that influence, then it starts becoming a safety issue, right? But at the end of the day, there's not a violation for legal aged adults to consume alcohol on private property while engaged in hunting activity. Now, is it smart? Again, that's subjective. It's not something that I would encourage or recommend, but at the end of the day, it's about safety.
So it's not a violation. It's not illegal, but it is it's smart, and be responsible if you're out hunting and drinking, especially dove hunting. It's a social hunting, gathering that we like to do with all of our friends, and we often participate in a beer or two. But that's what we do is we're safe. We don't drink too much, but it's not against the law to dove hunt and have a cold beer. It's against the law to be impaired.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Ultimately, the spot that you're typically hunting, the majority of folks are not hunting in their backyard. There are some, but ultimately you're going to end up leaving that place that you're hunting.
Yeah.
And if you have had too much to drink, right, now you're in that impaired or intoxicated state, right, where your normal mental faculties have been compromised. You now become in a public place where, and of course behind the wheel, where you could be subject to driving while intoxicated.
And let's be fair, dove hunting is not exactly, a covert operation.
No. Obviously.
Yeah. You're going to be known where you're out there, so just be smart. That's what basically what it boils down to.
Only thing covert is the game warden sitting over there hiding in the corner. Yeah, but if they're out there, trust me, man, they're looking at you way before you're looking at them. But
if you're worrying about the game warden coming, you shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, man. I try to do everything I can to stay within like the legal thing, and then I want to have fun. I look forward to dove hunting so much because it is so unlike the rest of the hunting seasons, because this is my chance of a social hunt with my buddies, friends, family. We get to sit here and talk shit, stuff flying out the sky. We're sitting there missing, you're busting balls left and right. That's the only time you get to do that. Deer season, you don't get a chance to talk a lot. You know
what's crazy is dove season's what kicks it off, and we always do a big dove hunt with a bunch of friends. It's almost like a culminating event after deer season, but it's our very first hunt that we're doing, but it seems like a culminating event, but it's just what's kicking it off.
And everyone thinks, that here comes Green Pants. And they're here to take my fun away. They're just doing their job, man.
Doing their job,
and I mean, that's how I met Game Warden Sanchez, was through an encounter or was it a compliance? You guys call it compliance check? And it was a good experience because he was doing his job. I was doing the right thing. He actually had a bounce because someone was out there doing the wrong thing. Yeah. And he's like, all right, you have a good day. I'm going to go take care of that.
Is there one of the major, I guess, violations that you see routinely during dove season? Maybe like an open day. I'm not going to say just an open day violation, but a really common dove hunting violation that it's just people get caught up in it every year.
Okay. I'll tell you that in all the years that I've been doing this, a lot of individuals like to roll the dice. Sometimes they choose not to get their license. Sometimes they think that their license lasts longer than it was when they purchased it the last time. So
3 years ago.
Yeah, it's a lifetime license.
Yeah. The licensure is a common one. And of course, with all those requirements that we talked about, no HIP certification, hunter education, the migratory and game bird endorsement is not as common as the HIP and the hunter's education, right? Or just not having a license at all. But another more egregious violation is exceeding the bag limit.
Oh yeah, that's something we get questions about a lot. Is people ask us, what's the difference between a bag limit and possession limit?
Okay,
and that's kind of where we were.
So I'm going to start with the bag limit, and I'm looking through the outdoor annual because I want to make sure that the verbiage didn't change for possession because.
While you guys are doing that,
3 times, but let me do it. Go ahead.
While you're looking, I'm going to ask you two gentlemen this: how do you enjoy dove season?
Same way you do.
Yeah, is it something you guys enjoy as well as hunters and all that?
100%,
absolutely.
Like, what is your take on it? Like as an outdoorsman, right? As an outdoorsman, we'll use that. I don't know why. It's like my first love when it comes to hunting, man. It's because I think it ties back to like childhood memories, and that was kind of like the first time a shotgun was placed in my hand, and that was when I was able to hunt around my dad and his own, his brothers and stuff. It's such a good memory for me, and now I like to do it with my friends and my families, and it's something I look forward to every year. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to drop a freaking pound, a chest pounding buck every year, and I want, chase other trophies out there as well. But for me, and people think I'm crazy because dove, it's like, bro, it's not a lot of meat, and I'm like, do you know how much fun I have for one limit of dove?
I think it's the camaraderie too of, just like how we go do our hunt is we don't get to see our buddies we hunt with all year. We might see them once or twice throughout the year, but we all know we're getting together that day and we're about to have a good time. And then the amount of shooting that you get to do, we talked about it before. It's not like sitting in a deer stand. We're hoping for that. You just want that one shot. No, you're going through boxes of shells. I am.
I only use 15.
That's what I'm talking about. My man, he says, I only use 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hats off.
Box club.
Not this guy.
You don't earn this shirt
Not
from
this
going
guy.
out there and sending 6 boxes downrange.
Yeah, I got mine taken away.
But
Clean up.
Man.
So
cleaning up woods.
That same socialization, I'll speak for myself. I enjoy it, but guess when it's happening for me? It's not opening weekends. Not
right.
Opening
Yeah,
day. It's when,
After the split, maybe, or
Maybe later in the season, or not on the weekend per se.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday.
So yeah, exactly. So we do the same thing, just as we can.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's it. I'm glad y'all get a chance to get out there too. That's y'all ever prank each other with whoever's on duty?
The same. Not when we're on. We don't mess around on duty.
Yeah, in uniform, game off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not like that.
Here's
But
here's what I envision. We're out there on personal time, and we call the game warden for a prank that says, "Hey, there's some nonsense going." We will not do that because that takes away from what we need to be doing.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Now, when we're out there doing the same thing that you're doing in the social setting, we do the same stuff. But back to your daily bag and your possession limit. So it's worded a little bit differently. The number was accurate in what I was thinking. Let's start with bag limit, okay? Because I had made reference to a common violation is exceeding the daily bag limit.
Yeah.
And for dove in this state, your bag limit is 15. And that can consist of morning, white wing, and white-tipped dove in that aggregate. However, in that 15 count, you cannot have more than 2 of your white-tipped dove. So that means if you have 0 white-tipped, you can have 15 morning, 15, let me rephrase that. Got to put some punctuation in there.
Yeah.
15 morning dove,
Period.
or 15 white-winged dove, or a combination of numbers that add up to 15, assuming you don't have any white-tipped. If your white-tipped are in there, whether it be 1 or 2, no more than those, then whatever your balance is for 15. Right. So in your scenario, if before you drank all those Lone Star
beers, Lights,
before you drank all those beers on opening morning, if one of you bagged the 15, then that person, whether it be Jimmy or Ben, you're done for the day.
Done for the whole day, not just the morning hunt.
Yeah, your daily bag limit on opening day is 15. If you had the opportunity to take all of those birds the first morning, take a siesta for the afternoon, and wait for the next day for your next bag limit. So usually our opening day is sometimes surrounded by a 3-day weekend. And that's probably not a coincidence why our possession limit is now 3 times your daily bag. Now, it doesn't say that in the book. It says specifically that your possession limit is 45 morning, white wing, and white-tipped doves in the aggregate, to include no more than 6 white-tipped doves. It's nothing more than multiplying your daily bag times 3. Okay, so that's where I came up with the verbiage 3 times the limit. I didn't see that here, but this is what it's saying now.
It does say it on the electronic version.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it very well may be someplace else outside of page 60 in the current outdoor annual, but 45 is your possession limit. So what does that mean for the hunters, right? These social hunters. They're out there the first day, they shoot 15. If they do half that in the morning, they can do the other half in the evening. Then the next day, they can take another 15, however they get to 15. But if we're talking about starting on a Friday and you traveled however far to get to your hunting location, and you guys in that group setting want to consume some of your bag, your possession is dwindling because you're eating or consuming some of your daily limit, right? Even though you stopped at 15 on day 1, on day 2, if you get 15, you're now at 30. It's 2 times your bag, right? And if you ate half of those or all of those, your last day, you still can only take 15, but you're only going to go home with 15 because you consumed the rest of the 30.
Right. I mean, it comes down, it is real simple, but it's 15 a day, and your possession limit's not to exceed 3 times your bag limit. And it is pretty cut and dry. When you guys are doing checks and you come up on dove hunters, how do you most often see them store their harvest?
In all sorts of ways, whether they be in violation, and we'll talk about those violations. But I see you got a little handy tool here to help out with that. So we see, I've seen them commingled. So you walk up to a group of hunters, and they're surrounded on one or two vehicles. And as we come up there, there's a pile of birds.
It looks good for a picture, though.
The pile never looks good.
Looks like a pile of birds.
Laid out on the tailgate displayed would be a better, prettier picture.
Yeah.
But you have a group of hunters with a group of birds. And my question to the hunters is,
Which ones are yours?
whose bird is this? Which one of you shot this bird?
Right.
And they said, well, those are ours. I don't know who shot that one. Well, if I've got 3 hunters, I now have 3 violators because this bird's illegal based on whatever circumstance the bird is. It's the wrong species. It's the wrong, whatever the case may have been.
It's Inca.
Or that it could be the wrong species. Or they're not in a tether that limits you to 15. So this is the 16th or the 17th or the 20th bird. And they're ours. Okay, well, that means that each one of you are in violation for this offense, right? So the bag is per person. And what that means is when we come up to a group of hunters, everybody needs to have a separate bag. So I can look at this and go, well, this one's not named, but I can say, whose is this? And
Right.
that one's mine, sir. I said, okay, got your license for me? Boom. Whose is this? Well, this one's mine, sir. Okay, so we're good. We never want to hear, those are ours. Okay.
Who's ours?
Yeah, because ours means it's a group effort. So how many did you shoot? You're going to give us a number. And how many did you shoot? You're going to give us a number. And how many did you shoot? You're going to give us a number. And I'm going to do the math. Well, one of you is over or under because it's not adding up. Okay. So just make it easier on yourselves to maintain, whether you have a dove cord like this, whether you have a bag where you put in your birds. Some people put them in the back of their vest.
Yeah.
They have a shot shell bag with birds on the, shot shells on one side or the other, birds in the back of that.
In a bucket.
The caddy, the dove wrangler. I've seen that.
The dove wrangler.
Stake it in the ground, and it's got where you can put ring the necks and around it.
Okay.
Keep it within your limit.
The bucket that Warden Witcher made reference to, I personally like that because guess what you're doing? You're keeping them off the ground and you're also keeping them temperature controlled. And in 100+ degrees, it can spoil pretty quick. And the law says you have to maintain those in edible condition, right? We don't want to waste the game. So again, up off the ground in Texas, we got fire ants in a cooler. Doesn't even have to have much ice, but that insulation makes a big difference. But individually bagged, however you see fit. Now, that is bird on the wing, right? Now, how am I going to determine when you guys are all done with your hunt, you're going to clean your birds, right? We're talking about dove, so there's no identifying wings that need to be on there until we start talking about, well, why do you have 17 birds in here? Well, sir, those 2 right there, those were the non-protected Eurasian collared doves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
I don't ever get that lucky.
Yeah, so you're allowed to have 15 of the aggregate, but we didn't talk about the exotic. So rock doves, the pigeons, the feral pigeons, and the Eurasian collared doves. Those are not
no limit.
Counting exactly.
Yeah.
So there are exceptions to being in excess of 15 birds, but when you have those oddities, we can understand that the size of this breast is not
compared
the
to
size,
a Eurasian.
Yeah, a feral rock dove versus a mourning dove or a white-winged dove, it's going to be substantial.
Yeah.
But when you have a Eurasian collared dove and a white-winged dove, you probably want to maintain the wing on that Eurasian.
Just to prove. That's a good point.
Now, the law doesn't say that you have to. I'm just saying make it easier for us so that you don't have to explain yourself.
And because on the flip side of that's a process. That's an entire process, and it probably doesn't go by real quick. If you're out there kind of investigating, you got a group of people dove hunting, and you're trying to figure out whose birds are whose. Do you all have plugs in? I need to see all your license, everything.
We haven't even got into the equipment yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That encounter is going to take a long time, and that time that's happening, they're not hunting, right? I mean,
Depends on the warden, the officer. You see me check you in the field. I like to talk to one person at a time, and as long as the scene remains safe and nobody's swinging and shooting on me and the person I'm checking, I'm okay. This is my take. I'm okay with the hunt continuing as long as it's doing it safely.
but even when you're, you know, if you're checking a single person or just a pair of two, you know, two people or something, that process can take a while, and it may take you out of the hunt. And that may be when birds are flying, but if you have the bucket or you have a dove cord that can be found at thedovecord.com that will hold your 15 limit birds, and the wardens can come right by and they can just count them, and they can see them quickly and easy, and it just kind of speeds up the process and makes it
expedites the
expedites it, and you know, keep your birds off the ground, like Warden Sanchez was saying.
Oh, so we covered licenses, we covered bag limits. I got one more question.
The great debate.
The great debate.
To bait
or not to bait.
It took me a second.
To bait or not to bait. And we're not talking about baiting, because obviously that's illegal. No question. Mm-hmm. Where it gets a little, I won't say questionable. It's just I would like to clear it up here.
It's not gray
for everyone else. But I read it and I get a little kind of like, what does that mean? There's certain words that are used that I'm like, well, that could be questionable. Let's talk about hunting over a field that.
What is considered baiting for dove?
What could keep me out of trouble if I'm hunting over a field that had at one time had, you know, some type of grain or a
milo field,
corn, sunflower, whatever.
Let's go directly to the source where it's printed in black and white, and I'm going to cover two different things. Page 57, current outdoor annual. Make sure that says 25-26. I did grab the right one. It specifically says under baiting regulations, directly or indirectly placing, exposing, depositing, distributing, or scattering of salt, grain, or other feed that could serve as a lure or attraction for migratory game birds to, on, or over areas where hunters are attempting to take them is prohibited by federal law.
Federal law, not just Texas, that's federal.
Okay.
Federal migratory birds.
And Texas follows federal law as well. Hunters are responsible for knowing whether an area is baited or not. Okay. So that's what I'm going to stop there when it talks about what is baiting, and that is the do not do what I just read out of the book. Okay, now to go back to a little bit of for dove hunters, there's some gray areas. We'll just use it that way, but I'm going to clear up that gray area by again pointing to you the reference in the book. If I turn a page from 57, talks about. It points you to the U.S. points you to Texas Parks and Wildlife dove baiting and waterfowl baiting. It's going to go back into those federal regulations as well. But on the next page, there's a statement printed in bold. And I want to make sure that you guys are aware of this. It says, a person may hunt doves over planted crops that have been manipulated for the purpose of hunting. And then that statement says a lot, and it continues, but we're talking about dove, and we're only going to talk about dove, but there's some other things that continue on, but I'm not going to make reference to that because it doesn't apply for dove hunting. But it specifically says manipulated. If you flip back to towards the end of the outdoor annual, there's a section for definitions on page 84. Alphabetically, you can find them M for manipulation on the top of the right-hand side of page 85. And it says this, the alteration of natural vegetation or agricultural crops, including but not limited to mowing, shredding, disking, rolling, chopping, trampling, flattening, burning, and herbicide treatments. Only lawful for dove hunting. And I'm going to leave it right there because it continues back into the waterfowl aspect. So
Right.
What that means is this, Texas has a lot of farmland, 97% privately owned, but the majority of that property is agricultural in nature. And landowners do a lot of manipulation of their crop. They harvest, they do various things. Right now in South Central County, I'm seeing, matter of fact, I want to say that, there was one particular area that they're shredding. And it's a normal agricultural practice for the act of hunting to manipulate those crops. And yes, you can. Now, just because it's been shredded doesn't mean you can go out there and intentionally
Spread.
disperse, broadcast,
Yep.
additional. You can only do the normal, what was ever on scene. So you've heard of food plots. People will grow them, then they will shred them, and that's intentional for that purpose. But that does not include other migratory species. This is strictly for dove.
That for me, that cleared it up. I mean, that makes it pretty simple. And then what not to do after you were to do any of those normal agricultural practices. But those normal agricultural practices are very common here in Texas on setting up dove fields. So when you're questioning, like, is it legal? Is this right? Just think about those normal agricultural practices that they're doing, and then just find out what's being done after that, whether it was they sprayed, they turned, they tilled, they drilled,
or even before. I mean, in layman's terms, it is legal to hunt over a crop field. If it's an agricultural crop field, it's normal, necessary. You cannot go out there and just spread bait and build your own small food plot for dove hunting. That's how I interpret it.
Well, you just tied the two together.
Yeah.
You tied the two together. So you got to be careful because, yes, you can go out there to a normal crop, but you cannot do anything additional by broadcasting any of this other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't broadcast anything. You cannot go broadcast seed and dove hunt over it.
So I'm gonna add this, and this will keep a lot of people out of the trouble part.
But first, if there's already an ag field there, there's a farmer's ag field there, right? Legal to hunt over.
Okay. Legal?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's normal agricultural practice.
You just can't go out there and throw bait for dove. Is basically.
But why would you want to? That's what I was about to say. Is like, you guys realize that, like, say you drop a corn, you go and you drop corn down. I don't know, you didn't harvest it, but you brush hogged over it, whatever, and you did that with the intent to hunt dove over it.
Illegal.
Where'd the corn come from?
A normal agricultural practice.
Okay. I think Jimmy missed that, and I missed it too, which is why I asked.
Yeah, a normal agricultural practice, right? They
you're just going to shred the cornfield?
Just going to shred the cornfield.
Yep.
I don't have to harvest my corn.
No.
But I have to do something to that cornfield if I intend to hunt dove over it. Just dove. You got to do something to the land. You got to turn it down. You got to cut it. You got to shred it.
You can leave it as is.
Yeah,
I thought you had to spray, cut, turn, anything.
They were just giving you examples of manipulation.
That's the manipulation.
Yeah.
You're not required to manipulate.
So I can leave that cornfield tall
Yeah, as is.
and hunt over it legally.
If you wanted to ruin your crop, per se.
Yeah. Where I was getting at, where I guess we're on the same page, but we're saying different things, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What I was saying is, like, why would you want to, man? Like, there's people that are like, oh, I got to go spread a few seeds or some salt and this and that. Why? Those dove are going to come and hit that dirt and go look for the scrap that's left behind anyway. They love that. Go watch any plowed field afterwards and watch how many black clouds are flying over those dove are loving that.
Put a couple mojos and flickers down and just watch what happens.
That's for another podcast. That's for another podcast. But man, I mean, I think we covered, some specifics that I wanted to cover about dove season, which were, let's talk about the licenses that are required. Let's talk about the special endorsements. And those special endorsements and those licenses, guys, here's what this is one thing I'm going to remind you about. These are federal requirements. Therefore, the federal offense or the offense that meets having not one of those can be a federal offense.
Specifically the the baiting, it could go federal or state.
Yeah. So, and can you be charged both?
I haven't done it. Can you? I'm not sure.
The point I was trying to make is
You're catastrophizing, Ben.
No, what I'm trying to make is that if you don't take it serious, just think of for me, federal is the worst, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I don't want that. It's too easy to pay a $10 endorsement tag or whatever it is this season, to get that. We know you got to have your license on you or some type of identification that can prove that your hunting license is yours. You got to have your endorsements. If you're going to hunt public and it's required to have a public permit there, you got to make sure you pay for that. You have to include that you have to check in and legally check out if you're doing the electronic version of those check-ins. If there's a paper one, maybe they have the check-ins there. And in that book, it'll tell you how to check in and how to check out. It'll tell you where the check-in point is, and it'll tell you where the legal parking is and all that stuff.
And that particular book is viewable online before you purchase it. So you can browse before you buy should you want to.
That's pretty cool.
Fair.
That's pretty cool.
Just don't browse and then go without the license or the permit.
And then we talked about is it illegal?
Illegal.
Is it illegal to have me a cold one while I'm dropping me a couple? I would say getting my limit. I would hit my limit of. I would definitely hit my limit of beer before I hit my limit of dove. So I would definitely try to stay smart about it.
One beer for every shot.
But most of our beers are victory beers anyway. You kind of got to earn it. You got to get your limit. So if you guys do it that way, make it a drinking game, but don't make it as like every dove is a shot or every dove is a beer. Make it, hey, you don't get to get that beer or you don't get to get that cold beer until you limit out. That'll keep everybody.
You got to fill a dove cord.
There you go. And then we talked about legal bag limits, and
bag limits, possession limits,
possession
the
limits, and the difference, keep you guys safe. And that's what we were trying to do,
and
guys.
The great debate.
We covered the law on hunting over a baited field or a legal field to hunt dove over, right? Because you can't not call it a baited field.
Yeah, it's really hard, right?
Let me ask you this, and we'll wrap it up with this. How do you guys? I mean, maybe I'm asking too much because it's kind of like insider, but I'm sure you guys do like common sense, right? Like if you see a field and it's what do you use as discretion to be like, I can see that this isn't, there's no fresh seeds.
Oh, for the baiting?
Yeah. Because maybe that's the question is like, well, how do I know? And how do they know?
Yeah, good point.
Well, that's why that little clause about it is the hunter's responsibility to know if the field's baited, right?
All right.
And you, Ben, made reference to there's really no need, or why would you do it? We talked about the manipulation of whatever crop that's there. So if we're over a cornfield and we start seeing something other than corn on the ground, right? Then that's intuitive for us. It says that was not normal.
Yeah,
that was intentionally placed. Yeah. Right? Maybe inadvertently for this gentleman who's hunting it. Right, this person may not know it, but when you have people getting paid for hunters to be there, and the hunters are paying because the birds are there, sometimes that happens. And that's where we make the decision on how we're going to handle that.
And so that says it's the hunter's responsibility. And so if you do a day hunt, with an outfitter, maybe not a day hunt, you do a day's hunt or a day hunt with an outfitter, and they're baiting and they are to get checked, who's responsible, the hunter or the outfitter?
Both.
So just because you went to a day hunt, you got with an outfitter and they baited and you didn't know, it's still your responsibility to know. So get in that outdoor annual and get smart on it, know what you got to know as a hunter.
Well, guys, I think we covered a lot when it's dove season. I just want to kind of lay it all out there and ask the tough questions, kind of clear those up. And we get these questions coming into messages and emails, and text messages and all this stuff is like, hey, man, next time you have the game warden, ask them this. Hey, next time you have them on, ask them. We wanted to make this one specifically about dove season because, one, I'm most excited about that coming up right around the corner. And, two, I just think it's topical. It's time to talk about it. And, it's kind of like the first thing you buy your hunting license for. It's like, hey, there's a reason why people are buying hunting licenses by September 1st, isn't there not?
Beginning of the season.
Time to put fishing poles up and pull the guns and bows out.
Well, we appreciate you guys joining us again. It's a pleasure meeting you and having you on the podcast. We hope to have you on several more times. Sure. You're welcome to come and join us anytime you want to pick a topic. Let's come let it fly, and we'll make sure to treat you right and maybe not have a wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
That was kind of like breaking you in, So I hope you appreciate our humor.
Sure.
Game Warden Sanchez is always a pleasure, man. We'll have you back, and maybe next time we'll do a little deer season specifics.
Preparatory for deer.
Yeah, because it changes. It's a whole different ball game.
I'm ready for deer season.
Jimmy, you want to sign us out?
Yeah, if you haven't yet, like, share, and subscribe. If you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing, we'd appreciate it. It goes a long ways for us. Like Ben said, we want to thank the two gentlemen for coming. We know they put in a long, hard day already, and they're doing this on their off time to come share with you guys as well. So with that being said, we hope you guys have a good day. Tight lines and hot barrels. We'll see y'all in the next one.